Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, shadows, see if they play it as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why your person is doing what they're doing, why you're attracting this person into your life, because a lot of times it's not an easy relationship. We want to understand why things are happening, because when we do, we're able to then implement new habits, new behaviorisms, which can shape shift the energy. See, there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs, and your core beliefs were determined on your experiences. So a lot of the experiences that are karmic, they continue to loop within your life, meaning they, after a certain amount of time, it's the same situation, it's just with a different face, or it's the same karmic theme. So it could be victimization, it could be betrayal, it could be, lack of self-love. There's many different karmic lessons. Hey, Mose. I hope everyone's having a good day today. It's actually cold here. It's freezing. And like here in St. Augustine, I think it's maybe 60 degrees. But for me, that's cold. So you have the sun. Hope everyone's having a good day. So anyway, that's why we want to do these shadow types readings. Oh, I bet Michigan's really cold. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. Also know that you have to be open to a shadow reading. Like, part of your reading is a shadow reading, and all readings that I give away are done live. So you can ask me the questions the day before, send them to me in an email, and I'll never bring your name up. I never do usually say the person's name. Sometimes people get on and they ask me questions while I'm live. They don't care, and other people do care. But know that I believe in spiritual law. It's what's best for everyone. What's best for you. You get a free reading. Best for me. I expose the channel. Best for what's best for the channel in general, which is collectively anyone that finds the video that resonates with it. So let's see what the word of the video is. It's again manic. Boy, I feel like there's somebody that's very bipolar. Someone that's manic is because they're in an emotional state and they don't really know how to handle their situation. Manic energy is almost like this person just needs to do something all the time. It's almost like they're running away from their thoughts, and we know bipolar comes to bipolar. And I feel like the person that you're connected to is realizing that they were really deluded. And I think that they were deluded because people in the environment. I also think that this person was in their ego. And they weren't willing to look at certain things. So the energy really, we're going to pull these two together, which obviously, if we're looking at things distorted and then we're seeing things aren't matching up, this person's intuition, I feel like, is really haunting them. I look down to my side, I feel intrusive. So there was, again, this intrusive energy. So when you were dealing with this person, let's see what was going on. It's you felt like you were ignored. So for those of you that actually got to spend time with this person, because a lot of times when a person doesn't, they're in their ego, they want you to chase them. They want you to give them energy. So I feel like you really thought that this person thought the way that you did, felt the way that you did, because there is a soul's connection. However, they wouldn't listen to your concerns. They wouldn't listen to you. So there was a lack of an emotional connection. You felt like you couldn't really be transparent with this person because they wouldn't honor what you were saying. So they were ignoring you. And understand ignoring is not just I'm ignoring you, but actually trying to make you seem a lot less like insignificant in this person's life. That's how they were trying to make it. So again, that you aren't being valued. So we know that they were on a low vibration, trying to manipulate how, you saw yourself and how you saw them. And that works with people that have a very low self-esteem. Abandonment issues. So this person came in and out of your life. They would say one thing and then do something else. I feel like you talked to this person about the abandonment issues. It wasn't just the abandonment that they came in and out of your life, but the lack of emotional connection and transparency made you feel insignificant, made you feel like not valued. And so what happened is you called their bluff. Like you could take a few steps back. I think that this person thought that you were someone else, and not mainly because they were in their ego, yes, but also because you're very nice. You're a nice person. So you treat people the way you want to be treated. You saw them, you liked them, you said, well, I'm going to treat you the way that I would want to be treated. And this person wasn't coming from that frame of mind. They were coming from that frame of mind that everyone like that gets with people, they use them. Like it doesn't really exist. Love like that doesn't really exist. Everybody lies, mainly because they lie. If you're only here for a good time, not a long time, you're lying about your life because no one would stay around for even a short time, right? They were getting energy. Life worked for them that way. But they wanted to act like you didn't matter. They were undervaluing the connection. But in that, they were undervaluing you. And so you held them accountable. It's like, and the thing is, it's like they wouldn't budge. Instead of them like fixing it, they ran from it, almost in hopes that you would be like, hey, what are you doing? You're running from it? Let me tell you why you're wrong. Almost like you would. But again, when you're dealing with low vibrational people, that's what they do. They're like, they don't know their worth. So they're, argue with people that don't really value them, that don't care. And that's what this person acted like. They acted like they didn't care. So they expected you to say something, to do something. I feel like maybe you were in shock, a little bit shocked, because I think that there was part of you that really thought that they would do something. This card doesn't even belong in the deck, but I'm going to read it. It's again drowning. So I feel like this person is actually being made to feel their emotions. There's a sense that they don't have control over the situation. And I also feel like when you live from your ego, you don't create things that are lasting. You can create things for a temporary moment of time, but eventually, like, the truth comes out. Life is about creating oneself. And this person is afraid to let love in. They were self-indulgent. They thought that love was all about feeding themselves. Past lover. And I feel like this person would even try to manipulate you by maybe dropping like the past lover's name, or again trying to create the facade that maybe there was still something there. Anything to make you insecure, anything to try and get you to like give them more attention, more time. Prove to me how much you have feelings for me. So it's again, you were like, first of all, I got tired of everything with just the gaslighting and the not enough time, undervaluing who I am. That's number one. Number two, you don't apologize. I hold you accountable. You don't fix it. You run from me. And then instead of fixing it, you'll try and drop other people's names, flirt with other people. Again, still trying to like strategize to get what you want instead of being vulnerable. So obviously you wouldn't feel safe. Obviously you would feel that was intrusive. Yeah, this person is very impulsive. which goes hand in hand with that indulgent behavior. So you don't know what they're going to do. And the reason why is because they don't know what they're going to do. You have a person that is letting their emotions dictate them and they're not emotionally intelligent. So they're wounded, and so we know that our wounds are the psychological blocks that hold a lot of emotional energy. And when we don't do anything with that energy, it's like we still don't feel good. We have the emotional highs and lows. And remember how this started, that you're dealing with someone that's manic, but they're manic and like bipolar because they don't have any control over what's happening right now. And this person is normally led by their addictions. Like I said, impulsiveness. It's like they're like a wild card. You never know what you're going to get. They don't trust themselves because that is their behavior. So it's almost like, why aren't you coming in and fixing it? Why aren't you? And you're like, no, I'm holding you accountable to like also grow up and take responsibility for your life. It's like this person like has a fear of like losing themselves. So it's not really a fear of death, like they're going to die, but almost like a fear of that, the death of their self image, their death of who they want to be perceived as, which happens a lot of times when people are wounded and they don't believe that they're deserving of love. They create the facade. And it's almost like they knew this, what this connection was, but they weren't going to give into it because it was out of alignment. It was out of alignment with everything that of who you are, you know, and this person knows it. So I feel like that they, everything that they do, if they like it, they're very indulgent about it. So even they're eating, you might even feel like that you're eating more, and it's because you're suppressing emotions, where this person does outside things to suppress their emotions. They're not emotionally intelligent, like I said, but they're letting their emotions dictate their life and their feelings. And the thing is, they're not balanced. They're someone that's very up in their head, manic people. Again, that's what it is. They're letting their mind, their thoughts race, and there's a lot of emotion behind that. So you see like someone that's trying to like control somebody else, but they can't control the situation because you're like, you're not, you called their bluff, you removed yourself. It's almost like they don't know what to do with that energy. And I also feel like there can, for some, not all, but for some, that this person is actually connected to someone that is also has that energy. So, and it's because that person doesn't want to be your person, that the person that's connected to you doesn't want to be with that person anymore. And so they're losing control. So I feel like, again, you're dealing with someone that is a mirror of that karmic person, but they hate the relationship that once was. They don't realize how they are creating that dynamic. They don't see that they display the same behaviorisms. And with you, you're just kind of like over on the side that removed yourself because you're like, if you're not going to be accountable for how you treat me, well, I'm not going to really stick around. This person, like, again, you showed them that they're not perfect. A person like this wants to be esteemed. I feel like a lot of narcissistic energy. Like this person likes to appear like they're perfect. They want to appear. And so people tend to go along with their energy. You're someone that doesn't go along with their energy. You didn't do anything that this person thought that you were going to do. So they never took the time to get to know you. There's a sense that this person is like uses whatever psychic ability that they have. And I feel like they're a narcissist. So I feel like they do have psychic ability, but they utilize it for like again, negative. It's all about self-indulgent. It's all about, feeding them, trying to make themselves appear better than they actually are because of the shame and the guilt and the victimization. And here you are, someone that they have a connection to, but they wanted to pretend that they didn't have a connection to, downplayed the connection, then was so sure that you were going to react a certain way that none of that happened. You didn't display any of that. So again, this person feels like they're out of control because they don't really know how to handle it. So their energy is on you. So if anyone is connected to this person, and if they're a narcissist, they usually have a few people that are connected to them. Doesn't mean that they're giving anything to those people, but they come around once in a blue moon, say a few like words, flirty flirt, and that's all that they need to do, which is what has distorted this person's perception of who they are. Because again, they hang out with the lower hanging fruit that thinks that they're all that. So, you're not doing that. So this person does have respect for you, but they're also like angry because you're not doing anything that which is making them have to do more. This person has a closed heart. They don't want to do anything. They want to be seen as like that perfect person, but only a person that has a lot of shame holds the energy of wanting to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. It's if you're perfect, then you're not being transparent. You're not being real. And people can feel when you're real and when you're not real. So again, no, this person wanted to be in control, and that's the worst thing. You were like, yeah, I'm not going to let the person that is so selfish and so afraid of relationships be the one that's in control. And that's the thing. They need to be in control because of their feelings of lack. Now, I don't know if this person didn't have money. I kind of feel like this person, it wasn't a money thing. However, because of their actions in life tends to look like a roller coaster. Because remember, when you're dealing with someone that they're not grounded, they're never grounded, and they don't really have an identity. They have a lot of flaws. They have a lot of spiritual blocks. So again, someone that's very manic is wanting to control. They're paying more attention about what you're doing than what they're doing themselves. And that comes from a survival mechanism of being abandoned. But what we see is that this person actually has abandonment issues where they're the ones that are coming in and out. You're not coming in and out. So it's almost like you triggered that. It's like they have a psychological reversal. They have feelings for you, but they get in their own way where they don't really believe that they can have. And so we know that because of the addiction, the suppressed energy. We saw eating disorder. Well, again, that indulgent behavior, whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking, it's just avoidance. It's I don't know how to deal with this situation. I'm feeling extremely manic and again, all different emotions, bipolar emotions, where it doesn't make the person, it makes the person feel like they're out of control. So in order to shut off, they drink or they do drugs. So again, it's a form of escapism because they don't know how to deal with this. Because you represent like healing for them. They would need to heal. You make them look at themselves like, wait a minute, you're not gonna do what I thought that you were gonna do. You're gonna challenge that. Well, I don't know like how to handle that you're not gonna play along. It's like, so it frustrates them, and you're not who they thought that you were. This person was so sure. So there's almost like a slap across the face there too, like with their ego of being so sure that it was okay to treat you a certain way and that they weren't going to be affected by it. So of course you're holding them accountable and they don't like it. You spoke your voice. And I feel like that's another reason this person avoids you, because you're going to tell them straight. It's like you're not someone that holds back. You're not someone that minces your words. I feel like you're direct, and this person is very sensitive. They don't have a problem hurting your feelings. They don't pay attention to how things come out of their mouth or how they treat you. However, due to that survival nature that we see them in, they do care about how you say things. So in their mind, they're imagining already what you're going to say, what you're going to do. And they know it's like they're stuck in their old habits. They would have to, again, it goes back to that. Do I want to change? Or do I want to stay lazy? Do I want to stay comfortable? You require me to have to like be transparent. You require me to show up for myself. You require me to, you're going to want that. And it's like, and once, what if I do it and you're still not going to like me? Because this person doesn't like who they are. So you're only going to reject me anyway. So if I don't let you in and I actually reject you by not coming to you, even though I want to come to you, but I don't know how to come to you. But even if I don't, well, then I don't have to step it up and I don't have to worry whether or not you're going to reject me. So again, still in their ego. Still in their ego. And so this is why they're manic, because it's like, how can I manipulate the situation? How can I strategize to get what I want? Because it's not like they don't want you, but it's again how they are. They're like, relationships usually don't work out. And so they're again that manic is the paranoia, which is, well, you're not gonna give them that chance. So they know pretty much you're not going to give them the chance. Now, normally this person, if anything, they make people paranoid because they're not consistent. They tend to like play the game and always have the upper hand. So the fact that they thought that you were a certain way and you're like messing with their head right now, that's like really blowing their mind right now. Well, I think that it's like you shouldn't say anything one way or the other, because then when you react, and see, when you react, people that are nasty to you, they don't care how they treat you. They don't care. It's again, if they love if you react, because if you react, what are you saying? You're telling this person how much you care, how much you desire them, how much you hurt them, and that's all that they need. They say, "Oh, see how much you care about me. I don't have to do anything for you. You're not going to go anywhere." See, when you don't show that, like this person in the story didn't do anything. First of all, they were like, I'm going to hold you accountable, but they didn't say, I'm going to sit here and hold you accountable. That's not what they did. They removed themselves. They called their bluff. They said, oh, you believe that I'm going to be here all the time? You think that I'm going to be here? Oh, no, I'm not going to be here, because, again, you're deluded. I see that you're not really giving me anything. So they took their power back. So the fact that they're not reacting, the fact that they're not doing anything, that is what's making this person paranoid. Because it's like, well, I thought that you were always going to be there. You see? So there's a difference. It's like you have to make a person, if they really care, and they're wounded, it takes a lot for the person to actually look and see how they contributed to why you're not in their life. But they have to first come to the realization that they care. And if you're right there and you're yelling at them and you're telling them, then there's a sense of, I don't really need to look at this. And it's like, and this is why I'm not with you, because you act crazy. When meanwhile, they're the ones that are making you crazy. So you don't want to go there. It's again, because then it becomes like a competition. And that's like this person's energy right here. They're trying to control. They can't control. So then what happens is that they're looking at you on social media. Oh, you're having a good time with your life? Well, I'm having a good time with my life too. But the difference is you might really be having a good time with your life, where they're staging having a good time with their life. Because everybody knows that narcissists don't really have any friends. They have friends that come around once in a while, people that they use. It becomes like a competition of, you're going to hold back from me. Well, then I'm going to show you. You're going to be mean to me. Well, then I'm going to show you. Instead of them just like surrendering to the fact of what type of connection it is. And it becomes like it's taught behavior. toward behavior. This person has a lot of inner child wounds. I feel like they grew up in an environment where that's what they saw. That's ancestral karma. When you grow up with parents that didn't know how to talk to each other, siblings that don't know how to talk to each other, that, fight, argue, they don't know how to like actually be in a disagreement without letting their emotions dictate. And so, like you said, it's almost like this person does the whole avoidance thing and doesn't allow themselves to feel anything, which usually triggers the person that they're with, the person that thinks that they're in a relationship with them. So it was like this person was refusing to give you anything emotionally. And you were like, but I can still feel like you have feelings for me. And they're like, no, I don't really have feelings for you. You pull back. It's again that they completely lose control. And then the fact that you're not reacting and saying anything to this person, it's again, that's why all their time and energy is about, well, how can I get what I want? It's about strategy, which we know that that's not love. People can mistake that as love. What that is that's real codependency. That's about ownership. That's expectation. There's like a lot of like attachments going on there that can feel like love if you never really had love. But it's almost like you're like, I'm not getting into that because I feel like this person gets into relationships like that. It's just they normally have the upper hand. Where with you they don't. It's like you realize that there was like you don't bring anything to the table. So I'm holding on to like an idea of you. It's like at the end of the day, because you're not giving me anything, and this understand the reason why is because that person feels empty. They don't know who they are. You're not your wounds of the past. You're not your traumas of the past. But if you continue to have the same habits and the same behaviorisms, which is clearly what this person has, because they're like, yeah, I know who you are, but I'm not going to surrender. I'm not going to do that. It's like, because I'm paranoid, because now, you would probably try to get back at me. It's like, that's being paranoid too. You're going to give me what I gave to you, or you're going to reject me, which is even worse for this person. Because again, they have to create the facade of who they are. They'd rather be in a competition with you. So that's somebody that's has a huge ego. That's somebody that is living in fear. I wanted to just see. It's not even worth it to see. Like you got tired of the abuse, which was what like a lot of people actually put up with for long periods of time. They feel like they have to put up with it. So I feel like this person is usually the one that does all the abuse and then is usually the one that leaves too. That's not what happened here. We have to go deeper. Do they think that there's any type of spiritual connection? Is there any type of spiritual connection? Was this just a karmic? What is it? This person's lazy. It's like spirit saying this person's lazy. They don't want to change. They don't want to do the work. It's like, okay, but is there anything? No, by the winter solstice, it's like this person says, draw another card to get an idea of what this shift may be. So there will be a shift in the next winter solstice because that's when the next solstice is. So this person may reach out to you. They may do something. Now that doesn't mean that you should run back together with this person. We always want to know what the person thinks on a deeper level. Are they going to do anything? What's the whole point? And really, Spirit says the point really for a person like this is to understand why you attracted them into your life. That is it, to integrate the spiritual lesson, because what we see is that this person is full of in their ego. It doesn't mean that they don't have feelings for you. They want to dominate you. They want to control you. There's a distorted energy of, like I said, ownership, expectation of what this connection is, but that's because they haven't taken the time to get to know you. It's in the fantasy, and fantasy is distorted. It's like, and that's really what it is. You show up in my dreams. It helps me process buried memories. So again, there is this past life energy. I watch you on social media, and the internet is my way of staying close and finding out more about you, again, because they're not like emotionally intelligent. You're not dealing with somebody that is going to be transparent and actually tell you, I need to move slowly with this, but trust me that I am moving even when it seems that I'm not, which means I feel like this person may not know what the hell they're doing, but they're definitely, you're making them think. You're making them do the deep dive into themselves, because it's almost like, I have feelings for you. Why am I doing all this? It's like, because they're still watching you on social media. I've never felt love like this before. The depth of it can be inspiring, but very overwhelming. So understand, like, for this person, it's very triggering, because the soulmate twin flame relationship is going to be very, it makes this person do the deep dive into themselves. It brings up all their old wounds. It's the mirror. And so there's aspects of themselves that they do not like. And then, now that they don't have control, don't judge this. Just surrender. I know it's triggering, but from a higher perspective, it's clearing energy and bringing us closer together. I don't know whether that's what this person knows, but because I don't think that they're that evolved. I think it's more or less that this person judges, though they can feel on an intuitive level. I shouldn't. I just should surrender to it because it feels right. But and that there must be a reason. But it's extremely triggering, because again, you're awakening every single spiritual block that person has. It's the mirror. It's triggering. You're challenging my norm. You're making me, like, shatter the image of the illusions that I've created, and that's my reality that I want to live. So this person doesn't like it. There's some spiritual connection when we first started. There ended up being a heart-shaped coffee stain. Huh. See that? It's like ESP through the heart and mind. I feel controlled by people around me, and I don't like it. It's pushing me to find my power again. Like I said, I felt like for some of you, not all of you, but that your person is connected to somebody that, again, is also very manic, because it's like, hey, listen, you're not paying attention to me. You're not becoming subservient to me. And they can feel that there's somebody else there. So the more manic that person gets, the more controlling. So which, again, is now smothering your person, which is making them think of you more. Then for others, it's just this person is just being controlled by their damn ego. And it's because they're too afraid of change. They're afraid of such a deep connection. I don't know, like, I have a lot of trauma to have to go back and actually look at. Our inner guides are clear, but our ego is resisting it. And that's what I said before, is like, this person is not in a place where they're surrendering their ego. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not a twin flame, but they're not evolved enough for you to actually be in a connection, because they're still not ready to treat you right. And it's because, hey, by treating you right shatters my illusion of how I want to be perceived. And I also thought that you were this person. So I'd rather keep trying to make you into that person until, like, where they're just resistant to it. And it's what's really hiding, but it is the fact that this person is afraid of rejection. When you say uncover everything, they're the ones that have abandonment issues. They're the ones that have rejection. They make everyone feel that way when they're in a connection. They made you feel that way. But part of that was they really thought that you were going to, like, fix it. They perceived you to be someone that you weren't. And not even because that's who you are, but I feel like this person has a big ego. They date a lot of people. They don't care about any of those people. So it's almost like, well, people are pretty much, you know, the same. And I think that you weren't the same. I think you were nice. Yes, you gave the person the attention. That's where you went wrong. And this person didn't really listen to what you say or take the appreciation of the conversation or the depth of the connection. They didn't care about it at that time. Now that you removed yourself, hey, now I can compare. And I'm comparing myself, and I'm seeing the difference. But I already did what I did. So now I can't apologize because, hey, that's going to make me look weak. So it's like, again, this person has that I want you, but I don't want you. And at the end of the day, it's all because they're afraid of being rejected. So again, you have to say, well, what the fuck for with a person like this? What am I supposed to learn from this? What would be the point? Because it was very frustrating. Well, you always learn unconditional love because you had unconditional love for this person, regardless of how they acted, because of that spiritual connection, which ironically is no ownership or expectation, which this person had that, but they were trying to make it into that. Past trauma, growing up with trauma of your own. So again, you don't need to even go through that trauma. You could have watched your parents live in that type of a dynamic type of relationship where one person was always showing up and giving the energy and making the family work, and the other person was just kind of like going on in for the ride and was never really satisfied and checked out half the time. That is trauma. Even though you didn't go through it, watching a parent go through it, it's a psychic thing that subconsciously happens that you're like, well, I don't want to wind up like that. It's like there's a trauma source. It's the trauma is bad enough and pushed you to have a good connection to source. Remember, the child that survived thrived. The reason why is because it's through the imagination, through, again, disassociation. When we're stressed out and very emotional, we do know what happened, but we actually don't have a feeling of what happened. And so we're actually fragmented in that place. There's parts of ourselves that we don't even remember. We don't even remember. But like, I don't even like where it's parts of you that you were really with source. So trauma, when you heal it, really does expand psychic awareness. So again, it showed that even though you went through this trauma, you have the gift of claircognizance, clairsentience, like have a better connection to source. Now, you might not have thought that you did, again, from experiences, but not until you went through this situation where this person made you feel less than, again, belittled you. And I don't really feel like they might have belittled you with words, but just their actions, making you feel less than, making you try to feel as if you weren't really important in their life in hopes that you would perceive them better. Again, the imagination, and that's what I said, the child that survives thrives. So your inner child wounds the imagination due to disassociation from the trauma. You have a better connection to source. What did it? Well, being bullied at home by a parent or a close a sibling, or a close friend, or being made to feel less than by one of those people that should have made you feel safe. Lies and secrecy. I feel like that's just when people don't treat you well and belittle you, you can live that lie. That's something that is, again, we begin to walk from that level of perception. It's a thing that we don't really expose to people. We feel like is a dirty little secret, our dirty little secret. But, so there was something that you needed to go back into the situation to see yourself differently, because we can't go back in time, to grow up in that same family dynamic with those same people. But spirit can orchestrated this union to bring up things within inside of you, which is, again, and also made you disciplined, because obviously, like, the trauma doesn't make you feel good. It makes us go into a place of survival. But if we see source and we see imagination and discipline, well, guess what? It's like, through the imagination, your thoughts and your energy and the time that you're putting towards creating yourself, that's when source comes through. So I feel like you weren't able to be disciplined as a child. So even though you had a good connection to source, it was more about surviving. And it was surviving because you didn't feel emotionally supported. You didn't feel safe. You felt like insignificant. You felt, belittled. So instead of using the imagination for survival, now it's about creating your life, being disciplined enough to ground the energy of becoming yourself and being disciplined enough. Don't waste time on somebody that's going to make you feel less than, because that's the energy that you grew up in. That's the trauma energy that you could either stay in a place where you feel like you're less than emotionally, you don't get anything because someone's going to belittle you, make you feel smaller, make you feel insignificant, or put the energy into yourself and know that that connection to source is what fills you up, that you don't need anyone outside of you to emotionally fill you up. So again, if you grew up in trauma where maybe your parents couldn't really show you love, couldn't give you that love, couldn't give you support, well, you're now connecting to people that also are showing you that they can't do it, they won't do it, they're adamant about doing it. And it's, again, making you feel like, what, am I not worthy? Am I not good enough? Spirit says you are. Are you treating yourself that way? And you may say, I treat myself that way. I bought myself an outfit, this, that. Spirit says it's about who you choose to be around. It's where you put your time, your energy, your focus, and your money. So remember, even just thinking about a person that makes you feel less than is not honoring yourself. So you were put in that energy to really clear the ancestral karma, which is what you inherited. And what you inherited was, again, trauma. You had to integrate that by going back into the experience to be like, oh, wait a minute, you're going to make me feel belittled. You're going to make me feel less than. Well, no one should be able to make me feel less than. Why is this person able to make me feel less than? And maybe you didn't even think about it, but instead you said, well, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to put my time and energy into my business, into my career, into my hobby, into my interest. And that grew. And that is what gave you a good sense of like, well, no one can now belittle me. No one can make me feel small because look at everything that I have accomplished. The Spirit said, exactly. You gave yourself the love. And that's what it was about. It was about learning how to heal yourself and realize, again, you don't need anyone outside of you, that you have to become the energy in order to attract what you want. You're not going to get it just because you didn't have it. You don't realize that you're not looking like you're a whole person. Once you create yourself and discipline yourself enough to create yourself, well, now it's like you don't need that person. Then you're able to really see whether or not that person's worth your time, And Spirit leaves us off with a positive action. I focus on the beauty in me and I find silence. I live and honor the present by doing what I can do now. What I cannot change, I let go and then trust in God. So really, Spirit said it was about you creating your life now. It's not about you giving time to somebody that's not, like, waiting for someone to figure it out and acting like that they're part of your life. It's like, no, live your life, create your life, and I will bring you somebody better in your life. Because sometimes the person that you're connected to has to eat a bowl full of karma, because they decided to sit on it for as long as that they did. It's like it's their punishment. It's there, and Is it about you just living and giving to yourself and saying, well, I might have had to live and grow up in a certain environment, but the second half of your life, you get to choose the people and the life that you want. And Spirit was saying, choose differently. That's why that was playing out. All right. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that you guys, well, I hope that you didn't resonate with us because this person was a jerk. But if you did, well, I hope that you learned the spiritual lesson and that you're able to recognize before you get into a serious relationship that a person, whether a person's true or not. And you can tell by how much time, energy, and focus a person gives to you, how they value you. If someone is acting like they value you and that's all they value, you got to check that too. It's usually not real, or if it is, it's really codependent and you have to watch out. I almost feel like in the story, that person would have came in like really like every single day with like too much, but as a way of controlling and dominating because of the lack of who they are. You're welcome, zombie Molly. All right. Well, I have to do a reading like in about half an hour and I have to clear the energy. So I'll be on again later or I will post a video later. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.